hosting class online. It's like day 217 of the quarantine. I'm kidding. It's not. I have no idea what day it is, but it's been a couple of weeks at least. And I thought now would be a good time. So I'm going to do probably a shorter practice. We'll start with some sun salutations, some more yang, and then finish it out with some yin. I'm going to go kind of slow. Good time to focus on your breath, especially if you're an experienced yogi and you don't need to move quite as slowly. You can also add on and take away however you want to, guys. So I'm just going to give you some suggestions and guidelines, but you're welcome to make the practice your own. So I'm going to start in child's pose, but you can start any comfortable position. You could be seated, you could be lying down, you could be on your back, your belly. But I'm going to shut up for a minute. Just give yourself a chance to land on your mat. So you don't have to do anything, but arrive. It can be really helpful to bring your attention to your breathing. Go ahead and take 3 deep, full breaths in and out. So we're going to fill up all the way to the top. Let your ribcage expand. Little pause, and then empty out completely. Just feel the weight of the body sink into the mat. And do that 2 more times. So fill up, little pause, and when you're ready to empty out, you'll let it all go. There's a little pause at the bottom too, so it doesn't have to be anything huge. Once you've got a solid grasp of your breath, like you're feeling the breath in your body, you can start to bring in some movement, and that could be as simple, I came right up to hands and knees for cat-cow, but you could take a side stretch from child's pose or seated, banana asana, knees to chest if you're on your back. So lots of different options. We're just going to start to move a little bit to our own breath right here. Cat-cow, simple posture with the inhale, the belly drops, you lift the crown of the head, the heart, and the tailbone up, and then as you exhale, you're going to round the spine. A few times through your own breath. So that's the basic movement. But you're welcome to be organic with it. So a lot of times I like to take the shoulder towards the hip. On either side, you can move the entire body in circles in each direction. Hips to heels, heart to mat. Again, really this first part we call integration. It's about bringing the breath and the body more in sync. So you're being mindful of your breathing, not if you're talking like me. But if you're practicing, you're being mindful of your breathing. And you're paying attention to how the sensations are arising in the body and how the breath affects the posture, right? So if I breathe right here, if I just take a breath in and empty it out, it feels one way. But now we'll move into a shoulder opener. If I take my right arm up and inhale and lengthen, and then I exhale, I'm going to go ahead and slide the right arm behind my left wrist. I'm going to come all the way down to my right shoulder and ear. Now the breath lands really differently. I'll inhale, fill up to my crown. And on the exhale, I feel the deepening of the twist, the weight into the shoulder. So just watch a few breaths move in and out. That really is the practice. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. An awareness of the way the sensations are showing up physically and how the breath is affecting the posture. 2 more here. When I have my left hand on the mat, guys, you could bind it behind the back too. That's an option. You can press, or you can be very soft with this. But when you get to your last exhale, stay until you're completely empty. And then come back up to your hands and knees, and we'll do the other side. So as you're ready to inhale, you're going to take the left arm high, and then thread the left hand behind the right wrist. And a few breaths there. Yeah, and it's helpful to notice how the pose can land differently from one side to the other. I'm gonna be honest too, I haven't been on my mat much lately. So I am definitely feeling the stretch. It feels good though, and I would definitely, I think you know, given the situations that we're in right now, aiming for a practice that's giving your body what it needs. So if what your body needs today is to feel good, then let that be the focus of your practice. If you need some strength and challenge, I'll throw a little bit of that in too. And of course, you can do that very intuitively on your own. But listen to your body. Don't listen to your head. Just listen to your body. One more big breath in. Empty all the way out. Come back up to child's pose, tabletop. And then let's just take puppy pose for a few breaths. So I'm going to keep my hips right over my knees, but I'm going to walk the arms forward and let the chest fall to the mat. Now you can go chin to mat or forehead to mat. You'll get different sensation. But we're looking to feel this in the shoulders, the upper back, the chest. So it's a big opening posture. Give yourself a couple breaths there. Just one more full breath in. Good, let that go. And then as you make your way back up, we're gonna shift into downward facing dog. So hands are about shoulder width, feet about hip width, and we'll take the hips up high. Oh my goodness. I have been walking a lot, guys, so what I feel right now are my hamstrings. So keep breathing. Go ahead and pedal your feet, shift your hips, shake your head, just see where you feel more resistance and more openness. And this part of the practice is huge, without judgment. So you're just noticing. It's like you're making observations like a scientist would. Okay, you don't need to attach anything to it. I'm laughing because my hamstrings are very tight. I think they're gonna appreciate this practice, so that's a good thing. And when you get to the point where you feel like you can find some stillness, then take a couple of breaths there. Really land in your down dog. I keep my knees soft. You know, heels are pressing toward the mat. They do not need to touch the mat. And if I bend my knees, you guys can probably see this, right? There's this when I'm pressing my heels down. Look at the way my back is arching a bit. If I bend my knees a little bit and tip my tailbone up, I get more length in the spine. I can feel the weight of the pose shifting back into my legs, and that, for most of us, that's gonna work better. So just play with a little bit and see what feels good to you. Good. Next inhale, let's take the right toes up. And we're gonna bend the right knee and reach over to the left side of the room. So stacking the hips if that's available, or just moving the right knee away from the left knee. They call it fire hydrant pose, so if you need a visual there, that's what we're aiming for. Good, stay, take one more breath in, reach up through your right toes, and then let your right foot come to the back left corner of your mat. We're gonna bend the left knee and press into the right heel to stretch the right hamstring out, just for a couple of breaths. Good, and your breath is probably a little deeper, a little fuller than your natural breathing when we practice. Ujjayi is an option if that's part of your practice, guys. You can release the foot back into place. On this inhale, let's take the heels high. So inhale, lift the heels up. And with your exhale, let them sink toward the mat. Nice. Left toes reach this time. Big breath in. And then we'll bend the left knee and reach over to the right side of the room. You can flex this foot. You can circle the ankle, fan the toes, but let there be some life there. My hands are still shoulder width. I'm fairly square. As I breathe in, I'm long through the fingertips and the lifted knee, and with the exhale, the upper body's just kind of softening towards the standing leg. We're gonna take one more breath in, so left toes go high. And then we're bringing the left foot to the back right corner of the mat. We're gonna bend into the right knee and press through the left heel. So finding the stretch. Now on the left hamstring. Good, breathing. And you can rest at any point in time. You can modify, you can change it up. The breath is the most important part, so if you're feeling like, oh, this is no good for me, you know, come to seat, come to child's pose, come to your back and just breathe for a little bit. Walking your feet up to your hands for ragdoll now. So feet are at least hip width, maybe even wider. You might turn the toes in and the heels out a little bit. Upper body relaxes and we're just gonna hinge forward over the thighs. So again, I'm gonna bend my knees a lot here. I have fairly naturally tight hamstrings, so you'll see me bend my knees quite a bit in forward folds, whereas not everyone needs to do that. So you're listening to your body there. And you can be still with this, you can sway. Catching opposite elbows is a very common variation. You could bring the hands behind the back and rinse the shoulders if you need that. Also, one of my favorites is to interlace the hands at the nape of the neck, right at the
base of the skull. And just a little downward traction. Oh, this is when I wish my head were removable. Just take it right out of practice. Also be handy, perhaps, occasionally at bedtime. But we're going to focus on breath and bodily sensation. So it's going to help quiet the mind quite a bit. Give it one more breath here, and then go ahead and release your hands. We'll heel toe the feet closer together. It's just going to slide them in toward each other. On your inhale, find the halfway lift point. I'm going to go hands to shins and just lengthen out through my crown. And then exhale, fold right back down. We'll do that again 2 more times. So inhale, lifting, lengthening. Shoulders draw back, and then exhale, fold. One more halfway lift. A variation is airplane arms here if you'd like. You can stay here on the breath out. Give it one more breath in just to lengthen. And then fold forward, release it. This time we're going to come all the way up to standing. Keep that bend in the knees, come up nice and soft. Inhale, reach the arms high. On your exhale, let your shoulders drop, your hands go a little wider. Stay for another breath in. Press down through your feet as you reach up. And then bow forward, empty out. Inhale to the halfway lift point. Exhale, forward fold. So this is a modified A, guys. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And on this exhale, let's take a side bend to the right. So I'm going to catch my left wrist and just stretch over to the right side. The inhale will bring me back through center. I'll switch the hands and stretch to the left. You can do any variation. Back through the middle, fill up. And then bow all the way down. Halfway lift, find the length. This time, plant your hands and step back to high plank. So just like you were going to do a push-up here. You want your wrists underneath your shoulders. Balls of the feet into the mat. If you're keeping the knees lifted, you guys, pressing back through the heels and reaching through the crown. So we don't have the hips high or sinking low. Uddiyana, so you want to engage your belly. A little squeeze there just to keep stability. Now a great option is to drop the knees. If any part of that, if it feels like you're struggling, or it's just not landing right in your body, then drop the knees. You'll still get a ton of work in the upper body. We're going to take a breath in here, and on the exhale, we'll lower all the way down to the mat. So we keep the elbows in. It's a little different kind of push-up, right? We lower all the way down. And then inhale, we'll come to cobra. My legs are strong. I'm pressing my thighs into the mat. I'm going to inhale and just lift up using the muscles in my back, and then exhale, come back down. I'll do that again, right? Inhale, legs strong. Exhale, release. Now I'm going to press my hands to the mat for up dog, and I'm going to press into the tops of my feet. So as I inhale, everything lifts. And with the exhale, I roll right back over my toes to downward facing dog. You can also flip your feet if you're a flipper. Stay here, breathe in. Empty all the way out. So if we were to move through Chaturanga modified, we'd inhale forward to high plank. Your knees are going to drop. As you exhale, you can lower half or all the way down. And then with your inhale, you lift the heart, and your exhale is going to take your hips back up. If we're practicing with a traditional Chaturanga, we're going to inhale forward to high plank. As you exhale, there's a little press forward on your toes. You go about halfway. Inhale, lift, exhale, press back. Now any variation, you can add on, skip out, however you want to do that. But we'll do one full sun A here, and then we're going to move on to sun B. So take a deep breath in. And as you get empty, looking forward, you can step or you can float your feet up. We'll inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Rise up, sun, mountain pose, reach high. And then exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhaling. Plant the hands, step back. You could go straight to down dog. You could modify your Chaturanga, or you can just go high to low. Inhaling for up dog. Back to downward facing dog. Now, I for one am feeling a little warmer now. I hope you guys are the same way. We'll move on to sun B now. We're just going to keep it very simple. Again, feel free to add on if you want, guys. Take a breath in. Empty it out. Again, bend the knees, look forward. You can step or you can hop to the top of the mat. We're going to inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press your feet, squeeze your thighs, reach all the way up to mountain. And then sink to chair. So just bend your knees and let your hips drop back.
You can feel the weight in the heels. I'm going to again take my arms a little wider. I can turn my pinkies in, my thumbs out, create a little more space in the upper back for me. So you're trying out these variations and seeing how they land in your body. You're also welcome to bring your hands to your heart centers. That takes some of the effort out of it, okay? We'll stay here for just one more deep breath in. And then fold forward, release. Halfway lift on your inhale. Either stepping back to down dog or moving through high to low push-up as you exhale. Upward face. Take us back to downward facing dog. And now we're going to step the right foot forward towards the right thumb. Left heel drops, right? So before you move your hands, you've got both your feet firmly planted. We're going to rise up for warrior one. So now my hips and chest are squaring towards the front of the mat. Do they need to be perfectly square? No, they do not. It's just it's a squaring action in that direction. Sun A, we warmed up the spine quite a bit. Sun B, we're going to work the hips a little bit more. So find your pose here. Let's do this. Take a breath in and reach up. And then on your exhale, just cactus the arms and open the chest. Inhale again, up. Exhale, find that cactus. We'll just go up one more time. And then the exhale is going to be either down dog or chaturanga. So hands to the mat, step back. You can move through your chaturanga. Or you can hang out in downward facing. And when you get to empty, your left foot's going to step. Right heel drops. We'll come up for warrior one on the other side. Got a deep breath in. See where you can soften. Relax your face. Let your shoulders come down. And a nice deep lunge in the front leg. We'll take another breath in here. And then we'll cactus the arms. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, cactus. Just one more breath. Up. Hands to the mat. Down dog, chaturanga. Yogi's choice, right? All the way back. Good. So that's our Sun B. Let's do one more like that, but to breath. So it's a little bit faster. We're not going to hold anything for longer than a breath or two, okay? Maybe we'll do two since we're doing a slower practice. So take a breath in here. Again, as you get empty, bend the knees, look forward. Step or float. Inhale for halfway. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to stand. Reach and stretch. And then sink low to chair. Take a full breath in. Stay and empty out. We're doing two, right? Take one more deep breath. And then forward fold, release. Halfway lift, inhaling. High, low push-up, exhaling. Or you could just go to down dog, right? Hard lifts. We take it back, and the right foot's going to step for warrior one. We'll do this. So we're going to inhale, rise up to warrior one. Exhale, sink into it. Let your shoulders drop, your body soften. We'll take one more breath in, a little back bend if you'd like, and then hands to the mat, either for down dog or chaturanga, high low. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So from empty, the left foot steps, right heel drops. So we'll rise up and breathe in. We're going to look for a little more softness and groundedness on the exhale. We'll take another breath, little back bend, and then hands to the mat. So a little more active. If you weren't warm before, I'm kind of hoping you are now. We're going to do one more, this time with a variation, and then I think we're just going to kind of move on to some yin. It took me a long time to get you warmed up. Breathe out. Look forward and step or float. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to mountain, reach high. And then exhale, sink to chair, go low. And let's do a little add-on, guys. Take a breath in and lengthen through your crown. And let's twist to the right. And we'll go ahead and stay high with it. So extend your left arm forward. Let your right arm reach back. Just a couple of breaths here. So we're getting a little more twist through the torso from the bottom of the ribcage up. Breathe in. Empty out. Good. Inhale, arms back up through center. And then just switch it. Left arm sweeps back. Breath in. And empty. Good. Filling up. Emptying out. One more breath in. Reach up. And then forward fold, release it. Halfway lift. Take it back. High, low, or right to downward facing. Woo! We get to down dog. Right foot steps, and we're going to inhale and rise up to warrior one. And then on the exhale, we're going to open to warrior two. So hips and chest are going to turn toward the side wall. Ah, there we go. I think it's been a minute since I taught a practice. Well, I did the practice. So I apologize for the panting and heavy breathing. It's a little harder than I expected. Good, I've been off my mat too. Let's flip our front palm. Now keep the legs just as they are. So knee over ankle, nice deep lunge. On your next inhale, you're going to reverse your warrior. Just reaching up and a little bit back. Stay and empty out. Go ahead, take another breath. Reach way up. And then let's sweep the left hand down. Lift your back heel, your left heel, right onto the sky. So we're going right into a twist. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. So as you inhale, you automatically lengthen through the body. And on the exhale, there's a little room for rotation. Rinsing out. We'll stay one more. Big breath in. And then hands to the mat. Step back. You can float the foot if you want for high to low. Meeting back in down dog. Left foot's going to step. Right foot drops. Rise for warrior one. And then go ahead and open up for warrior two. And there's this process, right, of landing in the pose, just kind of allowing yourself to be here. It can be helpful now to use the breath as a tool to see how the breath is affecting the posture, where you feel openness, where you might feel resistance. We're going to flip the left palm, keep the legs, okay, and on the inhale, reverse. Stay there and empty out. Good. We'll take another breath in. You might reach a little higher. And then we're taking right hand down. Right heel lifts. Left arm to the sky. So into the twist on the other side. Breathe in. Little room to rinse. Good. Let yourself fill up. And empty out. Take one more inhale. Hands to the mat. Step back to high plank. I said I would throw in some strength, so we'll do that now. You can hold high plank. This is a great pose. It works your core, works your upper body. If you're pressing back through your heels, legs are engaged. There's a lot happening. If you want to add on to this, let's go right knee to right elbow and take it across to the left. Good. And then back to the right, to the left, back to the right. Good. One more time to the left, back to the right, step to high plank. So feeling that in your core, we'll do the same thing on the other side. We're not in a hurry. And you're keeping your hips pretty square. So left knee draws forward. We'll take it across and back. Across and back. One more time across, back. High plank, downward facing dog. Oh. Oh, is how I feel about that. Good. Take a couple of breaths here. I'm going to have you lift your right toes high. And we'll bring the right foot up towards the right thumb. So you're in like a runner's lunge position. And find that first. So again, you've got the knee right over the ankle. You're pressing back through the left heel. The crown of the head and the heart reach forward. So you're really long through your spine. This is just to set the pose up. We're going to take the left knee down and bring the hands into the right thigh for a hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to let my hips dip forward. Let your shoulders drop. Relax where you can. You can stay right here. You should feel this in the front of your left hip. But if you want more, move toward a back bend. Take the arms up and back, and that's going to increase the stretch in the hip flexor. You can stay here. This is awesome. If you start to press into the top of the left foot, so your left toes are untucked, press into the top of the foot, it's going to intensify the stretch quite a bit. So just breathe into it. Stay really aware. Nice. We'll take one more breath. And then the hands come down, we shift back to a half split. So you can keep the hips over the left knee and just point the right toes up towards the ceiling. A lot of us are going to feel a good stretch right here. If you want to sink the hips back to the heel, all right, so it's a little more yin, you can fold over the right leg. And if you're someone who practices splits or is working on it, you can head in that direction as well. But yeah, this is yin, so not so much muscular involvement. You're gonna let your body relax, your head drops, your breath deepens a little bit. Feeling the stretch all down the back of the right leg. 2 more breaths. One more inhale. Good, and then empty it out. We're gonna shift the weight forward again, and here's what I'm gonna have you do. So you'll tuck those back toes, but I'm gonna have you just turn for a wide straddle forward fold. So heels are even, toes might turn in slightly. You can take a breath here to lengthen through the spine, and then you're gonna hinge down and fold. Hands shoulder width, elbows straight back. That's traditional. There's lots of variations though, so just do what suits your body best here. You should feel this in the back of both of your legs. So a really nice hamstring stretch. Couple more. Of course, you have the option to go upside down here. We'll do it on the other side too, but I'll give you another option there too. Good, and then come back up to the halfway point. We're gonna rotate back around to the front. So we look like we're in that runner's lunge, but I'm gonna have you shift into a standing split, so a little balance. I moved my foot back a little bit. You could do that if you'd like from here. But really you're shifting your weight forward into the right leg, and the left toes are gonna lift high behind you. You can take your right hand to your ankle. You might bring your left hand there as well. That's up to you. You can also just walk the fingertips back. But the gaze now is at the back wall, right? So we're not looking forward, we're not looking at the foot, we're looking straight back and letting the head hang down. You can stay here for about 3 more breaths. You could bind it up. You could take some curtsy squats. Some of you guys know the variations. Otherwise, just holding. Again, big stretch in the hamstring. We'll take 1 more inhale, reach way, way up. And then let the foot come down. And we're gonna take the feet wide. And just because we're about midway through now, and deeper forward fold. So first 2 fingers can grab the big toes. You can stand on the feet, toes to the wrists. Lengthen yourself out and then just fold into it, guys. Give yourself a few breaths there. You can even wrap the hands around if you prefer that variation. It's really whatever works for you. You know, when I first started practicing, I got really hooked on the way that I felt, both during and like immediately after the practice. I was so absorbed in the movement and the breath and the sensation that my mind would quiet tremendously. Release your hands, guys. Heel toe your feet back in. Halfway lift on your inhale. And then plant your hands and step back, either down dog or high low push-up. Follow your breath through. Yes. We're going to inhale the left toes high. And we're bringing the left foot forward for that runner's lunge, right? So initially getting a feel for it in your body. Just finding the alignment, the length. You can squeeze the thighs toward each other. You get a little more engagement there. Kind of solidify your alignment. And then the right knee's coming down, hands into the left thigh. Shoulders relaxed. So hip flexor stretch, right side. You can keep the hands here. You can begin to move toward the back bend. You can press into the top of the back foot if you like. So always mindful. There's a lot of strength in this practice, but there's a lot of room for softness. So as you breathe in and out, you're looking for both of those opportunities and trying to find as much balance as we can find. Not wrestling or fighting, but just paying attention. Take 1 more breath. And then the hands come down. We shift back for the half split. Left toes to the ceiling. So again, you can just go hips over knee. You can sink the bum back to the heel. Fold over the left leg. You can move toward a split. But yeah, so I started practicing, and that feeling, the quietness of the mind. I didn't care for the practice that much, you guys. I was a runner and a weightlifter at the time. It hurt like hell. I was so tight. I literally hated the first 20, 30 minutes every single time. But I felt so good at the end, you know, that I kept coming back, and I turned into kind of a yoga junkie overnight. I was practicing 5 or 6 times a week at least. I was getting really angry when I couldn't go. And I don't even know, that was me for a long time. Give it one more breath here. Empty it out. And then shift your weight forward. Left foot's your foundation now. You know, you can move towards that runner's lunge, but really we're moving into standing split. So left foot's going to be the base, right toes are going to lift high. And you're just folding into your standing leg. Inhaling to lengthen up. Exhaling to fold in deeper. And you got about 2 more breaths, not too long. Good. Give it one more inhale, reach way up. And then foot to the floor. Oh, halfway lift, inhaling. High to low push up or right back to down dog. It may be the last time I say that, so take advantage of the chaturanga. And meet me back in down dog. Oh, and then let's come all the way through to our seats. Yay! We'll just do a little bridge. So come onto your back, feet into the mat, about hip width distance apart. Oh! You're just going to press down into your feet to take your hips up. So pressing down to lift up. Walk your shoulders under. A little more openness in the chest. If it's available and it feels like it's serving you well, you can interlace the fingers and press the palms together to get a little more lift. But breathing right here. Very much engagement from the kneecaps to the belly button, guys. Take your gaze straight up so you've got lots of room to breathe. And feel that quality of openness in the chest. You want to send a lot of air, a lot of oxygen there. 3 more breaths, okay? That's a lot of space. One more inhale. And the hips come gently back down. We're going to take Supta Baddha. So that can be soles of the feet together, knees out wide, or you can take feet to the edges of the mat, knees together. So you can kind of try the 2 variations. It's the low back that's going to feel the difference, so just try it out and see what works for you. Left hand to the heart, right hand to the tummy. Shut your eyes down and take a few breaths. So the point of my story was, it took me a long time, and I'm pretty certain it was at least a couple of years, if not longer. And before I realized that I could access that same feeling of peace, that same quieting of the mind, without actually doing a full yoga practice. That there were many paths to get there. It just happened to be that in my life, yoga really opened it up for me in a way where I felt it on a really visceral level, you know? But for some people, it's gardening, it's meditation, it's running, it's, you know, there's so many. Anytime you are doing an activity where you feel in the flow and you lose track of time and it's just you in that moment, that's all you need. So it doesn't have to be a steady, disciplined yoga practice. But for a lot of people, that's one path that works well. Give it a couple more breaths. Let your heart rate slow down. Good. Draw your knees together. Hug your knees into your chest. You can rock side to side, or you can make a few circles with your knees here. This is one of my favorite postures. I know it's not very fancy, but it feels so good. To me, it's very grounding to me. Feels good on my low back too. Alright, we're going to do a little hip opener from here. If you practice, you guys, traditional half pigeon, you're welcome to go there. I'm going to do reclining. So I'm going to bring the left foot to the mat and cross my right ankle over the left thigh. And then lifting the left leg up, my right hand goes through my legs while my left hand comes around to catch the back of the left thigh. And I'm going to pull the knee in towards the chest, and I'll feel that pretty quickly in the right hip. So this is a good place. If this is a hard reach for you, a towel or a strap. If conversely this is really easy, hands could go over the shin. You can get a little more leverage to pull in. But this is yin too, so once you set the posture up, close your eyes and just breathe. Hip openers can be, I'm going to use the word disturbing, a little disturbing for some of us. Yogi theory is that there's a lot of unexpressed emotions and things that we've wanted to say that reside in the hips. So you'll come into hip opening and you get the intense physical sensation, but there can also be some intense emotional sensation that may not make sense in the moment. And that's okay. You don't have to make sense of it. What you need to do is come back to your breath. So take a deep inhale and a long exhale. And do that 3 more times. It does not have to be more complicated than that. Good. One more nice deep breath in. And as you release it, you can let go of the leg. We're going to switch that out. So right foot comes to the mat, left ankle over the right thigh. Lift the right foot up. Left hand's going to go through the leg. Right hand around to catch the back of the right thigh now and start to draw it in towards the chest. Or you can maybe take it to the top of the shin. Just kind of feel it out, guys. There's other variations. I'll have to make sure I put my email on here, so if you have any questions, you can hit me up. If there's something you're struggling with, you need a modification, or if you are looking for an amplification, just let me know. Postures tend to land differently day to day. Sometimes it's nice to do different variations, even if you're accustomed to, or you know that your body works well in a certain variation. Sometimes just mixing it up to help you stay present, to help you feel the breath in the body, the sensations that are arising in a little different way. I think I was in college, my first or second year of college, one of my instructors was talking about just not driving home the same way every single time you went to class. He's like, take a side street, take a different route. Don't do the exact same thing every time, even if it's the most efficient, even if it's the most direct route. You never know what you're missing by avoiding, kind of the road less traveled was his message. It's true, it's not so hard to do things a little bit differently every now and then. Give it one more breath. Let's release into a happy baby. So you're gonna catch either your feet or your ankles. Knees are bent, and we're drawing the knees down towards the outer edges of the mat. Ankles right over the knees. So you can be still with this, or you can take a little sway side to side. Give that a few breaths too. That was pretty good. Knees to chest again. Give them a nice squeeze. Oh my goodness. If you want, you can take your forehead to your knees. Don't worry, nothing permanently broke there. That was a good pop. And then let's just take a little inversion. Just realized I skipped the entire left side of one of those sequences, right? We're not going to get up and do it now. If you want to, you go ahead. I'm not going to. So let's take an inversion. I don't have a block with me, guys, but if you have a block and you want to slide it under your sacrum and just take legs up, that's awesome. If you don't have a block like me, you can just take your legs up. You practice shoulder stand. You're going to rock the hips up and support the low back with the hands. We're aiming for a candlestick-like position here, guys, so really pressing up long through your toes. The weight of the posture is on the shoulders, not on the neck, so really mindful of your neck as you're hanging out here. And of course, there's options. You can go to plow, you can go to deaf man's pose. You can come back to legs up. And we'll give it about 10 breaths. If you practice headstand, handstand, of course, those are options as well. You know what? I think all we skipped was wide straddle forward fold, and that's actually okay because we addressed both sides of the body in the first one. I feel better now. Give it 3 more breaths. Good. One more full inhale. And then let it come down. We're going to take Shavasana from here. So you're going to let your whole body relax. Traditionally, it's on the back, right? And we extend the legs out long. Palms are up. Walk the shoulders under so the chest is nice and open. You really want to let your body be soft. So I'm going to take my feet out a little wider and even give them a little wiggle. So this is the traditional pose. If this works for you, you're welcome to take that. Now, I find it feels better to bring my arms in. So I'm going to go left hand to heart, right hand to tummy. Some people like to lay on their side or their belly. Any position is fine here as long as you're comfortable. So find that. Come back to your natural breathing. Maybe one last deep breath, right? Natural breath. Eyes are closed. Belly soft, face is soft, and we're just going to rest. Stay right where you are. You can roll to one side or the other. You can also stretch, wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe start to find a little deeper breath.
working your way up towards a strong C.
You can have your eyes open or closed, guys, however they feel comfortable. But sit up nice and tall. Let the hands, if it feels right, come to the heart center. They can rest wherever they rest, easy. Let's take cleansing breath in together. So deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let's do one more just like that. Deep breath in. Thumbs can come to forehead center. We'll take one more breath in together, and all together we'll say, Namaste. Thanks for joining me. It felt good to get on my mat. Feel free to give me some feedback. We'll see if this happens again or not.